My name is Jens Jordan. I'm the executive chef at Grand Isle Restaurant in New Orleans on Convention Center Boulevard, and I will be cooking a dish for you today which is called shrimp romesco, and it's the most important thing in that dish is basically the sauce, which I will show you how to do, and then you can follow up the steps of finishing up the dish. We're going to serve it with a sauteed spinach and a manchego cheese croutons. We have, for the sauce, we basically have the following ingredients: roasted tomatoes, which I cut up and charred up inside in the oven for like 15 minutes at high heat, not burnt, just charred with a little bit of olive oil. Then we're going to have some thyme, some dried ancho chili soaked in hot water, stamped and its seeds taken out, a little red wine vinegar, some hot and some mild paprika, some garlic, and a tiny amount of habanero, some toasted almonds, and some almonds sliced. What I do first is basically I take a little ciabatta bread. The recipe gave it's on the internet already, and then I have a certain amount of olive oil, and I'm going to fry that bread in olive oil until it's golden brown on both sides. That bread nice and golden brown in about ½ inch of olive oil. It's ciabatta bread. It's usually a light European bread. You can use French bread if you want to. That's fine. Works good. And then once this is fried, it's going to get cut up, and all the ingredients I've shown you are going to end up in the food processor with a little bit of shrimp stock and that olive oil I'm using for frying the bread. So this should take only a few more seconds. You want to fry that bread at medium heat in olive oil, otherwise it's going to get burned really fast. Okay, here we go. That's the color I would like to have. Now I'm just going to take that bread, cut it up in small pieces, and we're going to add this. The almonds, hazelnuts, toasted, the paprika, spicy and mild, the garlic, and a little bit of habanero. You don't have to use habanero because they're really spicy, but I like it. The drained ancho chili, the tomatoes, and white wine vinegar, a little thyme. What we're going to do is turn it on, start stirring the whole thing, and then it's going to make it. You want to have a fine paste, almost like toothpaste-like consistency. And what I usually do is I add a little tiny amount of shrimp stock or seafood stock just to smoothen the whole thing out. Okay, once you want to scrape down the sides and start stirring again until everything is complete, have a nice microwave. I'm going to scrape this down one more time so make it all nice and smooth. You do not want to have any chunks of nuts or peppers. Everything should be fairly consistent, and you want to season it just with a tiny little amount of salt. After you're done with this, you pour it in a shallow pan. Flatten the whole thing out, and you want to put it in the oven and bake it at 350 degrees for about ½ an hour until the color will turn red with a few specks of darkness on top, and the whole thing is going to look like that once it comes out of the oven. And then when you have that done, you take white wine and shrimp stock mixed together, pour that Pour that paste in there to finish off the sauce. I'm going to stir it all together. The color will turn lively again. Just bring that to a simmer and let it simmer for about a minute or two. And check for the seasoning. You might have to add a little bit more salt and a tiny little bit of pepper, and that should do. While this is simmering away, we'll take a pan, heat it up lightly, pour in a tiny little bit of olive oil, and start sauteing the diced up onions. Okay, now the onions are starting to, don't cook the onions without any color, basically, that's what I'm saying. And I have 9, it depends how many shrimp you like. I have like about 9 shrimp here, size 21, 25 to a pound. They're all peeled and deveined, but I left the tail on. You want to season them lightly with salt and pepper, and add them to the onions. And start cooking them at medium heat. In the meantime, in the other time, you take another pan, add just a tiny little bit amount of butter, let that melt. So we're going to make some sauteed spinach for the whole dish. And to finish the whole thing off, I have a manchego cheese crouton here. It's basically French bread, buttered, and shredded manchego cheese put on top of it. It's going to just get toasted off. That goes on the dish, and we're going to put that. You can either toast it in the oven or put it underneath a broiler if you have one. All right, the shrimp are getting almost halfway cooked through. That's the point when you would like to add the sauce to it and finish it off basically in the sauce. If it seems a little thick, you might want to add just a tiny little bit amount of shrimp stock just to make the sauce a little lighter, otherwise it's a little too heavy. And then for the spinach, it's pretty easy. Just toss the spinach into the pan with the butter. Take this off the heat, it's going to cook up finishing. And add just a tiny little bit of salt and pepper to the spinach. You don't want to cook it down to the point where it's all mushy and overcooked. Just saute it lightly. To finish the shrimp off, I have some green onions and some chopped parsley. Serve the whole thing. Take the shrimp, put it in the bowl. Sauteed spinach. Add the crouton. And we're ready to go. There you go. That would be shrimp romesco from Grand Isle Restaurant. My name is Jens Jordan, and I hope you enjoy it. Thank you very much, and have a nice day.